Hey folks, Jeff Lawrence here again, and another video in my truck. I wanted to talk to you about a conversation that I had about with a prospective client recently, and this conversation really brings to light to me a lot of the challenges that people like you probably face out there when you're thinking about investing or planning for retirement or anything, and that is just how confusing the entire realm of retirement planning really is. You see, a lot of people will just take their money and they'll hand it over to a financial planner or advisor and hope that whatever plan they put together will work for them. There's a real inherent problem with this line of thinking. And the problem is that when you do that, you're really just turning over control completely and leaving that control in the hands of somebody that may not really have your best interest at heart. We do that because we don't understand. We're not educated. We're fearful of what's going to happen. And when we're not educated, we do have this fear of the unknown. When we have that fear, we want somebody else to take that out of our realm of being. We want somebody else to take control of our situation so that we don't have to worry about that fear anymore. All right? Think about people that don't know how to swim. They're terrified of the water. Or people that are afraid of heights. They're just terrified of going over bridges or getting in planes and things like that. So what do? We avoid it. We avoid it altogether. Another way to avoid the fear, the things that you fear most, is handing over control to somebody else. We say, okay, an expert can take control of this, so now I don't have to be afraid of it anymore. And when we do that, we relinquish a piece of ourselves. We no longer take responsibility for ourselves, for our actions, for our future. And as a result, we can't really complain when bad things happen to us. We do all of this knowing full well that the fear is not really going away, and also that the circumstances underlying that fear doesn't change either. Meaning, if I was going to invest in the stock market and I was going to start putting my money into mutual funds, I'd start looking at all of my options. I don't have any clue what's out there. I know that there are more mutual funds out there than there are stocks on the actual exchanges, which is kind of ridiculous. And as a result, I just get overwhelmed with all the data and the information. So I say, you know what? I'm just going to hand this over to an expert. And the expert, I have to choose which expert I'm going to follow, right? And maybe it's a buddy or it's a family member. It's somebody maybe I've been following online like you're doing right now. And I try to learn as much as I can. So I finally make my choice. I choose my expert. I choose my financial planner. And they say, okay, now we have a list of options. What would you like? Well, I don't know. I tried doing this research on my own. I didn't know. So you help me. You tell me. Okay, well, we have a list of options for you, and let's just go ahead and whittle that list down to what are your goals? Oh, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, 40 years until your retirement? Great. We'll just go risky, or we'll go less risky. I mean, that's really how they choose. And I'm not even joking. I'm not exaggerating here. They actually combine these things up into little charts, and they say, okay, here's risky, here's growth, here's steady, stable, income fund, equity funds, things like that. And they just choose based off of what you think your criteria are. But it's no better than if you went out there and chose for yourself. So, I know that I'm not really answering any questions you might have, but really what it comes down to is that you need to take responsibility for your future. And no one likes to think about that. Most of our clients come to us until once they realize it's too late. And, oh no, my financial planner says I'm $500,000 short of my goal and I only have 10 years to achieve that. What am I going to do? Well, you need to take responsibility. That's the first step. And that's really the first step in life in general. If you don't start taking responsibility right now, then who knows what's going to happen in the future. And you don't want to be that person that's relying on the government or a company or a financial planner or even somebody else in general just to help you get where you're going to be or hope that you have the right plan in place. All right. Even if you decide to hire somebody else and go with a financial advisor or planner, you need to have your finger on the pulse every step of the way. If you aren't doing that right now, then I encourage you to go out there, review all the plan documents that you have, review the plan that you have in place for your retirement, for your insurance needs, for your safety and security of you and your family. And I would also put a little caveat on there that ignore whatever you think you might get for Social Security. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. But ignore whatever you think you might get for Social Security and then find out if you still have a good plan. All right, that should be your first step for taking personal responsibility of your financial future and your financial destiny. All right, thanks.